So with this meeting, we chose the webinar format as opposed to the Zoom meeting format, simply because of the number of people that would possibly join in. And I'm not. So because of the potential large number of participants, we had to use the webinar format instead of the meeting format to accommodate the number of people. So the reason I'm explaining that is with this webinar format, we won't have your cameras won't be on, your microphone won't be on. So unfortunately, you just have to listen to me. If you do have questions at any time, click that Q&A button or widget, whatever Katrina's calling it, and you can key that in and just type in your question and hit enter. By the way, I failed to introduce Katrina. Katrina Tran is our internship coordinator here on campus, and she has volunteered to help me get through this, to take care of disabling chat, and to monitor the questions that come in, because I know there will be some, and ask them either during the presentation if she feels it's important, or we can wait till the end, try to get through them at the end. So that's what that is. If for some reason we don't get to your question, or if you come up with a question after this presentation is over, just send an email to automanagement@deanza.edu. That's a new email address. It'll come right to me, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have. Or you can pick up the old phone, and I still have the same phone number. It's been the same for the last 22 years, 408-864-8312. Feel free to call anytime, leave me a voicemail, and I'm happy to answer questions. My goal is to get through this in about an hour and 15 minutes at the very most. I have no idea how long it's going to take, but I'm willing to spend as much time as we have to. If it does go a bit over an hour into the hour 15, we'll probably call it. And we will be able to save the questions that are in the Q&A queue. And then I could just email everybody who has attended, because part of attending is you had to key in your email address. So anybody that attends, I will send out answers to questions that didn't get answered. And then maybe even people that email me questions, I can send those back out to everybody. So a little bit about the background of what we're doing. And this is really just a history lesson. In 2014, there was a law that allowed 15 baccalaureate degree programs to start. The number 15 is significant because there's 15 districts in California community colleges. So they allowed one program for each of these districts to operate as a pilot program. And as a pilot program, they were given a sunset date, which means they started them in 2015, and I don't remember what it was. They were given a date that if things don't go according to plans and they don't hit goals, these plans were going to be killed, and that's it. So good thing is all the legislative analysts produced their report and everything was positive. So in 2021, there was another law that allowed those 15 pilot programs to continue beyond the sunset date and really forever. And they also used that law to open up new programs so that we can expand the number of programs. And they, right now, I think they're going, I don't know, it's cycle number 5, and they're doing one application cycle per year. And they're allowing, I believe it's one additional program per district. I'm not sure on that. And for this conversation, it really doesn't matter. In January of 22, Deanza Autotech, we decided to fill out an application, send in an application to be able to offer a bachelor's degree in automotive technology management. That's why it's up at the top of the screen there. And by the way, there's no difference between bachelor's program and baccalaureate. I really like to use baccalaureate because I think it's just it's very sexy compared to bachelor's. It's exciting. So I will use that on this presentation. In October of 22, that's when we were granted the full approval. When we submitted the application, there's always a contingency approval, and there was a couple of other bits and pieces that we had to submit to prove something, whatever the question was. So it was in October of 22 that we got the full approval. And then in April of 23 is when I officially began doing this work. And by work, I mean is developing the courses, developing the program, figuring out what needed to be done from the state chancellor's office, what they were looking for as far as admissions, graduation requirements, just all of that detail. And that took many months just to figure this out, because there's really nobody at De Anza has done this before. This is our first baccalaureate degree that the college has ever offered. So it's pretty exciting, yet at times a little stressful based on the work that I have to do. So that's the background. The rationale. So why did we do this? One was there was lots of opportunities for management positions at the different departments that are on the screen right there. And this is for not only new car dealerships, but municipalities, fleets, even independent repair shops. Some of the bigger franchises, they have management positions that a lot of them do require a bachelor's degree. And we did searches throughout the entire country. There's a lot of management positions in the automotive industry that require a bachelor's degree. And there were some in some of the OEMs to get hired on at some of the local high-tech buildings that are OEMs. A lot of them required bachelor's degrees. So we thought there's a good opportunity here. So that was one reason. Another one is for you guys, it's very affordable. So this number, let me explain this number, that $10,560 is if you were to come to De Anza and earn your associate's degree and then take our upper division classes with quarterly fees included, you'd be into it for about $10,560. Of course, that does not include tools, coveralls, safety glasses, books, all the supplies. So we got this number by taking 120 units of the existing lower division work times $31 a unit, plus the new 60 units that I'm going to talk to about today, times $87 a unit, and then the quarterly fees for all of the associate work you did, and now including this 2 years in this bachelor's program, it's $10,560. So it's very affordable. And as part of the affordability, you might hear this term, it's an equity framework. So this is basically providing an opportunity for a lot of our students who would otherwise never be able to afford to go to college. And in this industry, we have never had a transfer opportunity for our students. Some have transferred on to mechanical engineering programs at San Jose State. So those have always existed, but we've never had a transfer opportunity in the automotive industry. So a lot of our students that have earned their associate's degree and then simply stopped because of the cost, there's now an opportunity for really anybody to get involved with this. And of course, there's also what we call upward mobility. So if you're in a particular job and maybe the next promotion requires a bachelor's degree, you could qualify for that. And then one that I didn't write in here, and I think is probably one of the most important, and that's just a sense of personal satisfaction, personal gain, to be able to earn a bachelor's degree in an industry that you hopefully love and have been in for a while. And the analytics, a lot of people that are going to track this, they probably don't want to hear about that, but I think it's very important. So that's one of my main reasons for getting involved with this, is just to provide that opportunity for all you guys and gals to have that sense of accomplishment and earn a 4-year degree. Okay, we do have a website. Hopefully you've all had a chance to see it. It is there. I put a link on our regular Autotech website. Otherwise, you can go to dianza.edu/autotech/management. And here it is. And pretty much everything that I'm going to go over tonight is on this webpage. But the advantage of tonight is whether you like it or not, you get to hear me talk about it. And you also have the opportunity to ask questions. So we do have a website. It is up and running. The one thing we haven't finished is the how to apply, because we're still working on that, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. So some of the highlights is once the applications open up, a lot of you have been students recent enough where you remember going to do the Open CCC application. I think they call it CCC Apply, something like that. So that process will be the same. If you have attended De Anza within 2 quarters prior to fall of 25, you won't have to do this. But if you haven't attended class in more than 2 quarters, you're going to have to go back in there, probably ask to get your password reset, because I would imagine you guys probably already forgot. I know I would. So you'd have to refresh this application. Your student ID number should be the same. Matter of fact, it will be the same. So all of you guys, if you choose to apply, you will not have to submit official transcripts because we have them here. And the folks over in the evaluations area, they confirmed that they don't need official transcripts. Although when you fill out the supplemental application, we are asking you to upload an unofficial transcript, just something from DegreeWorks. It's something simple to get us started in looking over these applications. The only admission requirement is an associate's degree in automotive technology. And since it's all going to be De Anza associate's degrees, I see this going really very smoothly. So that's really the only admissions requirement. There are graduation requirements, which I'll talk about as well. Then there'll be a supplemental application. And this will be the application that will be hosted on our website, the website I just showed you. Eventually, when you go down to click how to apply, we'll have a step-by-step operation of open CCC, fill out the supplemental application, be ready to upload certain things. We'll have some instructions laid out for you. And of course, that is coming soon. I've been told that it's days away from being ready. So once that is ready, they're going to put it on a test website, and we'll give it some testing before we open it up, turn it live. Once that happens, since you're in this meeting, you will get an email saying it's live, it's ready to go, and we'll probably send it out to all of the recipients of the email that we sent out announcing this webinar. So you'll have plenty of notice. Excuse me. That application is really nothing more than contact information. We want to know who you are, phone number, address, all that stuff, how to contact you. There's going to be 2 narratives, and don't get intimidated. I'm going to explain what the 2 narratives are. It's not going to be a surprise. We don't want you to get intimidated by this, but there will be 2 narratives that you'll be required to write. We want to know your employment history, related employment history, where you've worked since you've graduated from De Anza. And then ASE certificates. How many current ASE certificates do you have, and what are they? We'll probably enable some sort of upload, because I know you can go to ase.com and get your, I forgot the term, something letter that outlines all of the ASEs that you have and whether or not they're current. So we'll ask for an upload there. How we review these. So once we get all these applications, what we're going to be looking for and how we're going to be vetting them or grading them is how many ASC degrees do you have? How many AS degrees do you have? 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 if you were an evening student. We want to know how many. What your GPA is, we'll have that on the transcript. And a lot of these things, think of them as tiebreakers. We have no idea how many people we're going to have apply for this program, so we've got to be prepared with a way of determining who's going to get in for this first group, this first cohort. So that's one of them. And also the related work experience. There'll be some points awarded for work experience, current ASE certificates, and the two narratives. The first one is I just abbreviated and put goals. We want to know why are you doing this? What are you gonna get out of this degree? Is it for upward mobility? Is it for a new job, personal satisfaction? I'm giving you too many clues already, but we just want to know what's your motivation for applying for this degree. And then the other one is, I just called it time management. This program, and I'll explain what these terms mean in just a minute, is an online program, and the modality, as we call it, is asynchronous. So given your life with work, family, kids, anything you're doing outside of work, taking on this degree program, how are you going to manage your time? What kind of plan have you developed for how you're going to do all these assignments every week? And again, it's not an attempt to scare you out of doing this. Really want you guys to realize that it's going to take some time. You're going to have to dedicate some time to put into this to get the results. And then by law, we also have to provide a little bit of priority for veterans, low-income students, and if you are the first generation to attend college, first generation of your family to attend college. So there'll be a X number of points awarded for any of those categories. So that's how we're looking at the applications.
Dave, I have two questions in the
Oh,
chat that are
yeah.
part of the highlight slides.
I'm so excited.
So the first question, it goes from Anthony. Can we look at non-De Anza graduates? I invited a friend who did not graduate from De Anza Auto Tech.
The short answer is yes.
Okay. So we have another question from Jackie. Will I still need to register for these classes using the My Portal?
Good question. Yes. Everything is the same that you guys did when you were students in the auto tech program. So that is identical. Yep.
So we have another question from Jackie. I know these classes are asynchronous and you'll be in contact through email, but is there any voluntary Zoom meeting available through the classes to actually see other people or meet the instructors?
So not to meet the people, but we are still required to have office hours. And in a program like this, our office hours cannot be communicating through email. They have to be a phone call or a Zoom meeting or in person. So for at least for office hours, anybody can come set something up. I'd be happy to do a Zoom meeting, and then any of the other instructors will as well. Or you can come by face to face, schedule an office hour. And then the other question about meeting your classmates on Zoom, that might be a suggestion to ask the instructor. I don't see any harm in asking, but it's not built into the classes. These classes are fully asynchronous. But it's a good thought.
I think those might be the only questions we have left, Dave.
Oh, we did pretty well. Were there um, any other questions that you had that I think I don't remember. There was a couple of questions that we were talking about beforehand. Did you write those down?
Yes, for the cohort. Let me just see
Yeah,
here.
that's the one. I remember
Yes.
that. So a while ago, somebody asked, what does the term cohort mean? And I think I may have explained it fairly well in here, but a cohort is a group of students that will start a program together and go through all these classes as a group. And pretty much everybody on this participant list has gone through that, either in the day program or evening classes. You develop this cohort and you continue to take classes in order with that same group. So with this degree program, we chose to do a cohort model. It's actually called a cohort model. And the reason is we're not sure how often we're going to start a new cohort. So if there's a lot of interest in this program and we can't possibly accept everyone for this first cohort, we'll start another one the next year. If there's not a whole lot of interest on the first one, we may wait for the first cohort to be done and start 2 years from now. So that's still up in the air, yet to be determined. And the other thing about a cohort model is we have a course rotation. All of this stuff that I showed you, when the courses are available by quarter and year, that's when they're available. So one of the things that I'm going to not warn you about, but inform you about is if you can't make it through any one of these classes, the next time it's available is either going to be same quarter next year or same quarter 2 years from now. So we have to be really careful about making it through all of these classes.
Okay,
So that's a cohort model, sorry, as opposed to open enrollment where we offer all of these classes every single quarter. We don't have I won't bore you with the terms, but our administration won't be possible. And I don't think we'll have enough students for that. I'm sorry, Katrina.
Oh no, we'd have more questions coming in.
Cool, cool.
Question from Jim. Do you have a preferred office hours for phone calls?
Oh man, that's a good question. The best thing to do is email me and we'll set something up. Because I can tell you, I'm here pretty much Monday through Friday from 7 in the morning till whenever I leave in the afternoon, 2, 3, 4. Um, whether I'm available by phone all the time, I don't know, but I would say email me, please. And I don't mean to sound like I'm that busy, just it's best if we email, set something up.
We have a question from Grace. I know you spoke about it a little bit previously, but what sorts of career paths do you see this degree benefiting the most?
Wow. I probably didn't address it well enough, but it is definitely on our website. Um, Based on the research that we did, there are lots of job opportunities if we just look at dealerships. And again, probably entry-level management positions. And at a dealership, my example is the Del Grand dealership group. They've probably got 18 dealerships now in the Bay Area. And each one of those dealerships has a general manager, a service manager, a parts manager, a sales manager, a finance manager, online sales manager. There's so many different management positions, used car manager. So then you take those positions, however many it was, and multiply by 18. That's a lot of jobs. There are also city, county, and state municipalities, fleets, big franchises. There's also a lot of jobs that OEMs are advertising. And I know we have a lot of former students that work at some of the OEMs locally throughout the Bay Area. And I think I saw Hannah's name even at Snap-on. Maybe that bachelor's degree would get you a certain promotion. So that's my answer, Grace. And we think there's a lot of opportunities, and we've had some pretty good feedback from industry. We did put together a steering committee from people in industry, and everybody gets really excited when we talk about this program. So I think there's going to be a lot of employment opportunities.
We have a question from Anthony. If it is asynchronous, will we see the instructors at all, like with Zoom calls?
Just the term of asynchronous, my answer would be no. But I think you could request, even if you don't need an office hour, just request one right off the bat and request a Zoom call. That would be my advice. And I think all of these instructors would be happy to do that. And it's actually part of the contract. They do have to have so many hours worth of office hours per week. And email responding and texting does not meet the requirements. It has to be phone call, Zoom, or in person. So you could always request an in-person meeting, assuming it's a De Anza faculty. That could be a problem if the faculty lives in Marin County or somewhere. I think Zoom call would be the next best option.
Kailani asked, do you have an estimate for how many hours a week would we need to dedicate to both classes each quarter?
So I think just because they're 5-unit classes, shame on me. I don't know exactly, but I think it's times 2. So for example, if it's a 5-unit class, I think it's 5 hours outside of the class time. And since the class time is in front of a computer, I think it's 5 additional hours per class per quarter. I think that's the way it works, but I can check on that as well. And just to give you guys an idea, and just from a personal experience, I did a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. Both of them were 100% asynchronous. Actually, there was one class in the bachelor's degree that the guy had a scheduled Microsoft Teams meeting that we had to do live once a week at on a certain day, a certain time. But I think the thing that will help you, Kelani, is when you fill out this application, there's that question about time management. You've got a little bit of time to think about it. So think about, say, 10 hours to put aside during a week. And when I did mine, I was very fortunate enough to not have a teaching assignment on Monday. So Monday morning to Monday afternoon, I spent in my office doing all the reading and doing all the work. And then for the master's degree, kind of the same thing, but it's just a matter of developing a routine and really sticking to that routine every week. But right now, plan on about 10 hours a week. If I find anything out different as far as the estimates go, I will email. Some good questions. We have any more?
No, no more questions here.
If you type fast, you can type in a last second question. Otherwise, I will follow up on the out of state question, the hours per week, and then Katrina, whatever kind of notes you have that would help, just send those to me somehow, and we can get them answered. So the next step is, or actually what I'd like you to do is think about your goal. Why are you doing this? And then also think about time management, how you're going to do this, how you're going to manage your life, not overwhelm yourself, and then get through this. And then next step for me is once we get this supplemental application finished, tested, and it's ready to be published, we will publish it on our new website. So that one that I showed you way back at the beginning of the presentation, it'll be on there over on the left-hand navigation bar. I think I passed it. Right there. Over on the left-hand side where it says admission requirements and how to apply, we will finish that with step-by-step process of how to apply, also with some information on how to prepare for this. So you don't want to go into the application and go, oh, I got to write a narrative, or I got to write 2 narratives. So we'll give you some heads up time on that. So once that is published, I will email you, and the email is it's not going to be like the one for the invite for this bachelor's degree presentation webinar. It'll come from automotive management, but it'll be an email address that I have. So feel confident that you can reply and I'm going to get it, not somebody else. So we'll let you know when that application comes live. And in the meantime, email me, call me, and I'm happy to answer questions. I'm happy to do a fairly quick degree audit. I've been doing a couple of these. I won't show you whose it is. So I'll go into DegreeWorks and print out all your academic record, and then give you a good idea of how many extra classes you would have to take to complete Cal GETC. I'm happy to do that for all 28 of you if need be. So let me know what I can do. Any questions at all?
And Dave, we have two final
Okay.
questions.
I
Sorry.
knew if I stalled long enough, there'd be more.
So, Jim asked, I know this may be too early to know, but is there a plan to make the classroom sessions downloadable for those of us that fly a lot?
So, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I'm just trying to think of Canvas is the learning management system that Deanza uses. Most of the assignments are going to be posted as PDFs. So you would be able to download everything. And obviously we do that for a reason so that you can download the PDF files, take them with you. And so, yeah, 100% PDFs are about the best file type to use for those learning management systems. They're easy to read. Doesn't matter what computer you have. You don't have to have an old version of Word or Excel. So yes. And also you would be able to log into Canvas anywhere where you have Wi-Fi. So you got to pay a couple extra bucks and get the Wi-Fi on the plane, and there you go.
Okay. And we have a last question. I apologize if I'm not saying your name correctly, from A. Spasman. For those who joined late, will a recording of this presentation be made available for review?
AJ Spaceman, yes. Hopefully I didn't say anything wrong or anything bad, because I was thinking of actually publishing it on our website. I think it'll be okay. I don't think I'll get in trouble for anything I've said, but yes, AJ, I will make it available somehow. Good question. And was that it, Katrina?
Yes, that was it.
Okay, thank you. So I know you guys, we turned off all your cameras and all that stuff, but give Katrina a virtual thank you for helping me out and asking all those questions. It was a huge help. I just don't like looking at other screens while I'm doing this. So thank you, Katrina.
You're welcome anytime.
And if there's nothing else, that's all I got. So thank you, everybody. I'm gonna end it now. And just let me know if you have any questions at all. Email, call, you know the routine. So thank you again and have a great evening and get back to your families and get back to your kids and go have dinner.